Alright, OpenAI just launched its latest model called O1, and spoiler alert, this thing is quite good. I've sought out some of the best examples to highlight its new reasoning capability and where it still needs work. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Again, all references for video sources will be placed at the bottom corner of the screen so you could check them out later. Okay, for the first example, the user asks, waste a whole bunch of reasoning tokens and then say something short, and the model says okay. The user also says, waste a lot more tokens and say something short. The user now says again, okay, but with a shorter version of okay. Yeah, so like this is kind of joke I kind of like from the model. Like, yeah, a subtle kind of joke that's kind of fun at the same time. So the second example, the user asks, you're playing tic-tac-toe as O. So far, the board looks like this. What would you play next to avoid losing? So it said to avoid losing, you should play in one of the corners, specifically position 3 or 7. This prevents your opponent from creating a fork, which would allow them to like set up two potential winning moves simultaneously. This is correct. Playing in position 3 or 7 would be the only way to stop the opponent from being in a fork situation where they could easily win. Yeah, if you know what a fork situation is, it means like the opponent literally has no chance of actually winning you when he's in that situation. The third example, the user asks, if block C is on top block A and block B is separately on the table, can you tell me how I can make a stack of blocks with block A on top block B and block B on top block C without moving block C? So the desired output from this point is arranging the blocks in a sequential order from block A to C without moving C from its original position. So if C's constraint was relaxed, that means like you could move C, you could pull A from under C, which causes C to fall, stack B onto C and stack A onto B. But then again, C can't be moved, so it's impossible like O1 said. So yeah, it was correct. So the fourth example, the user asks how many R's are in the word strawberry. This one is a mixed bag because sometimes it gets it and fails it, like in this instance. But I've seen situations where it got it, but I failed to like locate those situations in the production of this video. So yeah, it gets it and fails it, so I'll give it a pass for getting it at least once. The next example, so the user asks what is bigger, 9.11 or 9.8? And 9.8 is actually correct, but in some other occasions, yeah, it kind of fails it too. Yeah, so the consistency between outputs differ from user to user, and that being said, since he got it once, I'm still going to give it a pass. So for example 6, the user asks how many words are your response to this prompt. He gets it right by saying there are 5 words in this sentence. So it also was asked a similar question, how many letters are in your response to this prompt, and it also gets it right by saying the sentence has 33 letters, which is correct. And for those of you kind of making sure it's actually correct, try to remember that hyphen and periods aren't actually words. For example 7, a harder question, the user asks the model, how could one melt an ice block with dimensions 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters in a winter night, that's 0 degrees Celsius, using one of the following items: a very powerful hydraulic press, and 0.2 liters of tea in a PET bottle, and a spoon. So the model then answers saying, by utilizing a powerful hydraulic press to apply pressure and deform the ice block, you can effectively induce melting through pressure-induced phase changes and the generation of internal heat. And yeah, this is correct. I verified this online to make sure. So it makes you wonder if it was trained on like the actual data that was online, or it actually reasoned about its reply. So yeah, either way, moving on. So for example 8, the user asks, compose a natural sounding paragraph where the second letter of the first word is in each sentence spells out code sequentially. The message should appear ordinary and not draw attention to the hidden pattern. O1 got it correct, so you can pause the video to verify. Alright, moving on. So another user also used the model to create a 3D version of Snake in under a minute, and O1 was competent to create that game and the game worked well. Yeah. Alright, moving on. So this one had me puzzled. So the user gave it a cryptic puzzle and it goes like this. She wandered through the ancient library, taking in the scent of old books. The shelves towered above her, reaching towards the ornate ceiling. Rows upon rows of volumes contained knowledge accumulated over centuries. As she perused through the titles, one caught her eye with the intricate binding. Without hesitation, she pulled it from the shelf. Bound in red leather, the book seemed to emanate a mysterious aura. Enigmatic symbols adorned the cover, inviting her to explore its secrets. Rustling through the pages, she discovered tales of distant lands. Reaching the final chapter, she realized the journey had just begun. Years could be spent unraveling the mysteries within. Find the solution word to this puzzle. 4O said that the solution word is journey, giving the reason that despite reaching the final chapter, the real journey of exploration and understanding has only just started. The idea of unraveling mysteries over time highlights that the process of the journey is the central theme. It's quite strong, but before I tell you the answer, take 10 seconds to look at the puzzle and try to figure it out. Okay, the answer is strawberry, and O1 handled it perfectly. So the answer or solution to this puzzle is the first letter of each sentence through the entire puzzle. Pause and take a look to verify. Alright, moving on. This other user asked a quite silly question, but the previous model couldn't pass it. But here it goes. A man and a goat are on one side of the river. They have a boat. How can they go across? So 4O answers, the man takes the goat across the river first, leaving the boat on the original side. Then the man returns alone with the boat. He leaves the goat on the other side and takes the boat back to the original side. Finally, he takes the cabbage across the river. I don't even know where the cabbage came from. I think it was in the training data. Like, I feel this whole thing is just like a training data regurgitation issue. But the same question was thrown at O1 and it gave the correct answer that both of them can just cross the river without any issues. And as it should be. Like, for how advanced ChatGPT seemed at the time of launch, I wonder why it gave such a wrong reply. Again, where did the cabbage come from? Alright, moving on. So the 12th example, the prompt reads, write a sentence that follows the same rules as the sentence. I sold bowls to bold souls. Like, there are 4 keywords: sold bowls, bold souls. And 1 and 3 end the same, 2 and 4 end the same, 1 and 4 start the same, 2 and 3 start the same. So it came up with the answer after 92 seconds of thinking, and its answer was, I told folds to old molds. I think it's matched the description but not perfectly. Told ends the same with old, that is the first and the third, the match. Fold and molds end the same, that is the second and fourth. But I don't think like the first and the fourth start the same and the second and the third start the same. So it tried on this one. Like, I can't give it a pass or a fail. Like, it even tried to compose the phrase in general. So that's fine but not perfect. Alright, moving on to the 13th example. The user asks, give me 5 countries with letter A in the 3rd position of the name. So GPT-4o botches it totally, but O1 gets it right. I think O1 is generally good at math and counting indexes within a sequence. So yeah, so that's quite good. So another user prompts it, build an asteroid game. I'm sure it doesn't come as a shocker, but it handled it perfectly. The exact prompts are not yet disclosed, but it outputs a nice looking game from a single prompt. And yeah, that's quite cool to come from just a single prompt, a full-fledged game. So moving on, this user tasks the model to decode a sequence of strings which look like gibberish. So the prompt goes this way. My friend told me this is something very interesting, but I can't read it. He also said that the order is messed up. Can you help me understand that? So this is the gibberish looking strings of texts, And the prompt concluded this way: if you figure it out perfectly, I'll tip you 5 grand. The model reasoned about this task and found out that the gibberish looking text was indeed one of Shakespeare's famous lines, but all jumbled up. Yeah, so moving on to example 16. So now for the more exoteric part, let's be honest, like, it's not an OpenAI test if people aren't training some wild requests. So one user asked the model to come up with a new mathematical formulation for quantum gravity. They wanted the model to think as long as possible and present a complete mathematical solution. So here's what it replied with. Yeah, so it looks pretty abstract, right? Yeah, I mean, why ask this kind of questions? And what's even funnier is that the people asking often aren't in, like, from the field of quantum mechanics, so they wouldn't even know if the model was onto something or not. But hey, if any quantum expert is watching, let us know if this solution has potential or not. Yeah, now let's move on to like even more challenging examples. Kapati, you guys know him, former director of AI at Tesla and former founding team member at OpenAI, asked a brain-numbing question. He asked the model, how can the net entropy of the universe be massively decreased? He didn't quite show the model's reasoning, although I would have loved to see the reasoning behind what the model's generated answers, but yeah, that wasn't kind of shown. So the model concluded, based on our current understanding of physics and the fundamental laws governing entropy, massively decreasing the net entropy of the universe is not possible, and it also gave some reasons behind the chosen answer. So yeah, the model couldn't handle this, and for some good reason, because you can't actually violate the laws of thermodynamics, which I'll say was actually a correct answer, yeah, and well thought. So moving on to less technical question. The user asks, a woman and her son are in a car accident. The woman is sadly killed. The boy is rushed to the hospital. When the doctor sees the boy, he says, I can't operate on this child, he's my son. How is this possible? So O1 gave a funny reply, the surgeon is the boy's other father. The boy has 2 fathers. And another user that used the same prompt like experienced similar reply that was quite wrong. The doctor is the boy's mother. And you could read his reasons, but one user got a correct response, which, yeah, I was like, yeah, so this is the right answer, yeah. So the doctor is obviously the boy's father. So moving on to example 9. So it was given a report of different phenotype features, and it was asked to make a diagnosis. So it got this right, that it was a KGB syndrome. Like, spot on, very, very correct, and very, very right. So another user asked, there are 5 people, A, B, C, D, and E in a room. A is watching TV with B, D is sleeping, B is eating chow mein, E is playing the table tennis, and suddenly a call came from the telephone. B went out of the room to pick the call. What is C doing? The model said C is playing table tennis with E. Wow. But come to think of it, who is E playing table tennis with? Talk about thinking outside the box. I actually like this reply. It shows that the model actually reasons. So yeah, so that's basically all the examples for the day. I had like some other examples I was not able to show because, yeah, they were quite repetitive and some of them were quite like, yeah, out of the scope of like this video and everything. So yeah, so how do you think O1 performed? Like, I feel they performed excellently. It performed well, like in mathematical, like reasoning, counting of like, let's say of the different, let's say counting in general. Coding was excellent, like producing games from just a single prompt. Yeah, so everything was quite cool. So how do you think O1 performed? And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, like give me a thumbs up and like, and yeah, subscribe. And yeah, I'll post maybe a part 2 if you guys really like the video, because I need to know by receiving a like from this video. So yeah, the more likes I get, yeah, I'll look for more examples I kind of post about OpenAI's new model called O1. It's kind of spectacular. I love it. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Yeah, bye.